Tonight, we're digging into homelessness in the metro. This as people living at the OU Motel in Norman could be left without a place to live. They're being told they need to be out by February 1st. Now, we're getting new insight into what the future holds and what resources are available. Fox 25's Tom Ferguson been on the ground in Norman today, joins us live. Tom, we're hearing there's plans to build a new development there.
Adam, that's correct. While not finalized yet, we have confirmed with the developer that there are plans to convert the property behind me into a student housing complex called The Resort. Now the people who live here are left asking what's next.
It was shocking with trying to rush to find a place to live, which is hard for me because being handicapped doesn't help.
Howard Prince has lived at the OU Motel for over 10 years. Now he's worried about becoming homeless.
This would be hard on me being on the street, being in a wheelchair.
Prince and others here got the notice to leave by the 1st of February on January 1st, giving them 1 month to make plans. A Garrett Moore Company spokesman tells Fox 25 that developers are under contract to buy the property, but the deal isn't final yet. They expect to obtain the property and begin construction around mid-spring, but said they acknowledge the difficulty residents are facing.
It's a recipe for disaster, and it's going to be a crisis.
Russell Rice provides transportation to Norman's homeless population through Norman Caravans. He said the current frigid temperatures only underscore what's at stake for residents here.
This is just one large group of people that it's happening to daily. People are getting kicked out of their apartments and houses and joining the homeless population across the country, not even just here, but across the country.
We're told a property company stopped by to highlight other options, but even these prices are too high for some.
I have looked, but everything is way out of reach. There's nothing affordable here in Norman.
The head of Food and Shelter told us her organization can help with the deposit and the first month of rent at a new place. She said to call 405-360-4954 to ask for help. And we'll have that number posted on our website, okcfox.com, as well. Now, residents here have about another week and a half to find a new place if they haven't already. Live in Norman, Tom Ferguson, Fox 25 News.
This Thursday, the Key to Home Partnership will conduct Oklahoma City's annual point-in-time count. More than 100 volunteers will go out to encampments, shelters, and day centers all around the city to survey people experiencing homelessness. Volunteers will also offer resources and service connections to the people they meet. The count is designed to provide a snapshot of the number of sheltered and unsheltered people experiencing homelessness in Oklahoma City on a single day and help city leaders identify trends from year to year in order to develop strategies to address the situation. To give you a snapshot of the information the count will gather, let's take a look at the 2024 point-in-time count results. And volunteers determined that about 1,838 unhoused individuals living in emergency shelters or outside in Oklahoma City, which was an additional 402 people from the 2023 count. And the count determined that 7% of the population were veterans, 17% were members of families with children, and none of them were sleeping outside. 24% were considered chronically homeless, meaning they had been experiencing homelessness for more than 12 months, and 62% of people counted were staying in a shelter, 13% in transitional housing, 1% in safe havens, and 24% were unsheltered. The Homeless Alliance told us last year they expected these numbers given certain environmental and societal factors.
This was really the first count we've done since the expiration of COVID-era funds. So we were really anticipating this count coming out because we felt like it would really reveal a lot about the current state of homelessness in our community.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development requires every community receiving federal funding through McKinney-Vento homeless assistance grants to conduct a point-in-time count on a single day during the last 10 days in January, at least every other year. The Key to Home Partnership is a public-private collaboration of nearly 50 organizations who all work together to prevent and end homelessness in Oklahoma City.
Key to home is the phrase we use really to capture all that we're doing from a community-wide level to address homelessness. That includes the work we're doing going into encampments and housing everybody who is there and bringing the wraparound services, but it really describes everything that this community is doing.
The Key to Home Partnership launched the Encampment Rehousing Initiative in September of 2023 after a successful pilot program earlier in the year. The initiative aims to provide a new pathway to housing for chronically homeless individuals sleeping outside by allowing partners to go directly into encampments and work to house everyone living there within 4 to 6 weeks. Now, we saw this happen with an encampment that had been set up on Class and under the Oklahoma City Boulevard Bridge. We told you last week 35 people had been living there. City officials told us those folks did not get displaced when the encampment was cleared out. Instead, the partnership connected 27 of them with housing through the Encampment Rehousing Initiative. They were also connected to 12 months of supportive services to help them stabilize in that housing.
So a key component of the Key to Home Partnership and the program is closing encampments after we house everyone there. Sleeping under a bridge is not something that we want. We want everyone to have safe and stable housing, so that's the goal of the program.
Key to Home Partnership officials say they've been able to rehouse 333 people through the program, have closed 21 encampments so far. We're also seeing the Moore Public Schools Foundation helping students facing homelessness. The organization says the number of unaccompanied homeless youth in Moore Public Schools is steadily rising, so they launched the Bridges of Moore project. The new facility will help students with food, clothing, and medical needs. It'll also provide housing for up to 20 unaccompanied or homeless youth in the Moore Public School system. The organization held a groundbreaking ceremony last month, and so far, they've raised about 60% of the money they need to reach their funding goal. The cold, a big concern right now for those experiencing homelessness. With the temperatures below freezing, Oklahoma City has several overnight shelters available. The Homeless Alliance on Northwest 4th Street can house up to 300 people, allows pets. The day shelter serves 2 meals a day. It's open overnight. The City Rescue Mission on California Avenue open until 6 in the morning with 470 beds. CSU Youth Services on Northwest 30th Street open to young adults 15 to 24 years old. They've got 25 beds available each night. And Pivot on Northeast 50th Street is for people 16 to 24 years old. It's open till 7 in the morning, and they offer extra beds in a warm space during the day in what they call extremely cold circumstances. Food and Shelter in Norman also kicking into high gear to help keep Oklahomans off the streets this winter season. Recently, the shelter opened an extra space in its cafeteria for overnight stays. The shelter also extending its weekend hours throughout the winter months. The organization's staff's busy handing out blankets and clothes and free food to those experiencing homelessness.
We try to stay open for people so we can get them out of the weather. We really want to help people not have to go through, hypothermia and stuff like that.
The shelter asking for donations. Right now, the major needs are blankets and anything that can just help people stay warm out there. Now, organizations like Food and Shelter offering services to those experiencing homelessness could be limited in the services they can offer if a Norman lawmaker's bill passes. The legislation filed by State Senator Lisa Standridge would force all municipalities in Oklahoma with a population of less than 300,000 to stop providing services and programs to the homeless. If it passes, any municipality that is providing services would have to stop by November 1st.
Not only would we see more people who are experiencing homelessness and need our support because city-funded shelters would close, we would be facing, seeing people from all over the state fleeing communities where shelters have closed and looking for any kind of support.
The executive director of Food and Shelter says the passage of this bill would increase the burdens on organizations like theirs, but people experiencing homelessness would feel the impact the most. Shopping carts, the center of a bill filed for the upcoming legislative session. Fox 25's Paige Taylor has a breakdown of the bill and reaction from those this bill could affect the most.
House Bill 1689 outlines the punishment for people who take grocery carts from retailer parking lots. Some questioning the need for this bill if stealing is already a crime. The bill, filed by Republican Representative Worthen, details that it should be unlawful to remove or be in possession of a shopping cart from the parking area of a retail area with the intent to permanently or temporarily deprive the owner of the shopping cart. The bill says that any convicted violator would face a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in a county jail and or a $1,000 fine. It's sparking mixed reaction among Oklahomans, with some saying the bill is targeting those experiencing homelessness. OKC Homeless Alliance's CEO issued this statement to Fox 25, saying in part, quote, "It is abundantly clear to us that this bill specifically targets Oklahomans experiencing homelessness, as it points to commonly held beliefs and stigmas surrounding this issue. We are not advocating for people to be able to take things from businesses at will, but punitive measures like this bill address a symptom of the problem rather than getting at the root cause." One local grocery store tells Fox 25 grocery carts can be a big expense.
If you go to like a bigger chain, Lowe's or Target, some of their carts cost between $500 and $400, and ours are around $250, which is still a lot of money, especially to us.
Store manager Cody Wiggins says from December of 2023 to now, the store has lost 20 to 25 carts. Wiggins says they used to store their carts both inside and out, but now they keep them all inside.
You order them, and since COVID, shopping carts have been really not hard to get, but it just takes a lot longer than it used to. It's about 6 to 8 months to get the delivery, sometimes longer.
Reading the bill sparked a question for Wiggins.
My initial thought of the bill is that it is technically already illegal to steal public and private property. So if they're already stealing it, then why do we need another bill to further the damage, I guess, to cause for the individual that is stealing?
I reached out to do an interview with Representative Worthen, but never heard back. Reporting in Oklahoma City, Paige Taylor, Fox 25 News.
And that was your big story breakdown. You can learn more about the OU motel closing and homelessness situations in the metro on OKCFox.com. Plus, you can check out all of our previous big story breakdowns on our YouTube page. Just search OKC Fox.